What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down Rondale Moore and his route running ability. Now, I'm going to make this clear at the start of the video. This DB is not trying to cover him, but we're going to mainly be talking about technique, some of the things that he can improve on some of these routes, and just some of the moves that you quicker, shorter guys can use to create some separation. And guys, if you're a receiver and you want to learn about all the terms, like some of the terms that I use in these videos confuse you, all the wide receiver terms to improve your wide receiver IQ, check out that link in the description that says Wide Receiver Dictionary, where you get access to probably 40 terms that can help you out, understand the way DBs play, understand the certain techniques that go into this position. Hope to get you guys on that soon. Let's get started. So the first thing here is going to be coming off with a split release. Now, this split release is a great way to freeze a DB, right? Now, like I said, this DB is not trying to cover him. He's just kind of giving him a shadow look, right? But it's good to work these repetition, just get repetition on this, but also just working the technique. So it's watch at full speed. So he gives him a little split, bursts upfield, and he's as sudden as possible running this out route. So that's what we got to mainly focus on as top of the route here. Because this split release, what it does is he kind of just splits his feet here, and that just serves to freeze the DB, right? Something that we could do to kind of change up the tempo here, give him this little split release, then go, especially the shorter, quicker guys, especially you quicker guys. We got to be able to give him something off the line, especially if I'm coming off, I'm fast, I'm running full speed off this thing. Maybe I'm giving quick feet off the line, like a quick 1-2 and just going. And now I come up with this split release. It freezes the DB, and then I can just burst up and leave him, right? So I freeze him, and then I leave him. So now when he's running this out route here, I think the most important thing is even when it's a quick out route, when we come off for, let's say it's just a 5-yard out. Let's say you're going off your fourth step. You're going as fast as you can for those first 4 steps. You're making it look like a vertical from point A to point B, right? Point A being the line of scrimmage, point B being where you make that break. So it's looking just like if you were to run a fade, if you were to run out the back of this end zone. So he's making it all look the same. So he's coming full speed, and then he just pops his foot right in stride. That's something that you see a lot of receivers struggle with, is being able to make this break right in stride. And you see how this back leg here, he's not really dragging it. He comes here, he sticks, and he just kind of opens it up and runs. That's how we get out of breaks fast here, right? What a lot of people do is they'll make this stick and they'll reach way out in front of them because they think that's just the way they make this hard plant, right? But what happens when you reach is your posture, you start to lean back and you get slower. And then you start to drag this back foot and you have a little leakage at the top of the route, which doesn't let you run out of it. When we're as sudden as we can and we could cut in stride, as he does right here, if we could just cut in stride and then open up my hips and run and accelerate and pump my arms, I'm out of the break 10 times faster than it would be if I stick and drag, because all that drag serves to do is that's just a lack of I wouldn't say a lack of it, but it's maybe just not confidence in your body control, right? You're not confident in being able to plant, being able to drop on a dime. So we got to be able to stick in stride and then be able to open up my hips and run out of this thing, not dragging, not leaning back, not reaching out. Let's watch this thing again one more time. So he goes here, split, freeze him, and then stick this thing off, and then we're going to watch this next route here. So now, on this one here, we're going to be looking at this comeback. We're going to talk about, he did snap off the right leg, but we're going to talk about what you need to do right before you snap, right? So he kind of gives us quick, just a little jab, just a little 1, 2, 3 to the inside, and I burst up here. Now, the main thing about a comeback, guys, is I got to be pushing vertical here. From this point, like I said, from point A to point B, but especially on a comeback, and especially when you're running a comeback against man coverage, right? I got to be so freaking just fast into this break because I got to get this DB to think vertical, especially because it's a longer break downfield. Like if you're running a 15 back to 12-yard comeback, that's a little bit longer of a break than 12 back to 10-yard curl, 5-yard hitch, whatever it is. You're going to be taking it out a little bit far, right? So you're going to need to sell vertical as long as you can. Now what he does here is right before it, you see he wants to snap down on this outside. He's snapping down on this inside leg here, right? Now, I think the main thing is he peeks back, which is a great technique to use when we're snapping down, right? So he looks back here, and all that serves to do is this DB was trying is he's going to be playing fade, right? Especially we're in the red zone like how he is right now. We're in the goal line. I peek back with my eyes. I'm selling fade. But here's the thing. When we peek back and he kind of got a little bit caught up in this, you see how he starts to pick his chest up. His chest is real high when he snaps here, and now he's got to come up and then down. I think that's the one critique I have on some of these routes is because when he starts looking back, that's the thing. We don't want to start looking back for the ball and then maybe start to pick my chest back and pick my shoulders back, and then I pop my chest up, right? I want to be able to keep my chest forward. I'm running, and then it's a little glance. I wish they would call it a glance back technique, right? But peeking back, it kind of gives us that connotation like I got to lean back. You don't want to lean back at all. You want to keep a good pad level forward, and it's just a little bit of a glance because that's all it takes to get this DB, and then we snap. But I'm not going chest up when I snap. I'm not trying to lean back because you see how his feet kind of get in front of him here, and his feet are out in front of him, so he's kind of not as forward as you would like. He's not as aggressive on that outside or that inside step. So he goes here and he kind of leans back out of it. And you see how he's turning out of it rather than running out of it. I would like you to go a little bit more when you snap. I would like us to go a little bit more chin to my knee and have my feet more so underneath me so I could actually generate some force. But he's kind of on his heels here, and he's using his heels to kind of stop him and turn him around. So all that serves to do is that just slows you down at the top of the route a little bit more, right? When you go heels first, because you think of it like your toes, that inside arch, the balls of your feet are the gas and your heels are the brakes, right? But especially on a curl or a comeback, whatever it is, I got to have those feet underneath me. I got to drop my hips violently, but I got to run out of this thing, right? But when I get my feet out in front of me here and I start to lean back here, you see how his chest is kind of up, he's sitting his butt down, his feet are out in front of him. That means I'm going to snap into this thing and turn, right? I don't want to snap and then open up and turn because it's like I'm starting, stopping, and then starting again. I want to run into this break. I want to create some energy going forward, 2, 3, and I'm running out of this thing, okay? Even if you go 4 steps, even if you snap with the outside leg on a comeback rather than the inside leg, I would like the inside leg. Sometimes we go outside, and that's fine, but we got to make sure we keep the same technique and we go forward, okay? So let's watch this thing full speed one more time. Not a bad route. The peek back is what's going to get you a lot of separation. We just got to make sure when we're facing elite competition, we're facing elite DBs, we're going to need to get out of this break fast. We can't give them any way to recover because these guys work these exact situations too. DBs work 45-degree angle breaks, 90-degree angle breaks. They work on being able to transition from a back pedal, being able to transition from running. They work on all these things. So we got to make sure that we're not giving them any leeway. We're not giving them any room to recover. So let's watch this thing again. Person up here kind of picks that chest up when he leans back. Just make sure he's going forward on this thing, okay? So now we're going to be talking about, I like his feet off the line here, just how quick his feet are. And now when he makes this break, how sudden he is and how he looks back for this ball too as well. So this is another great example of how you could use your body to manipulate a DB. Right now, again, I know his DB's not trying, and I get that, so it's not really the most realistic look, but it's all technique, especially when you're running routes versus air. You got to be able to use these techniques, or else you're not going to be able to use it in a situation where you're facing a DB or you're in a live game situation. So he's going to come off here. He just gives a 1-2 to the outside, and I want you to see how quick his feet are, and he's not reaching with his feet. What a lot of people like to do is when they come off the line and they give a little chatter is they'll reach. Same thing like on that stick we were talking about earlier. They'll reach way outside of their frame, and that pops their chest up, right? And all this DB is going to do is just pop you right in your chest here and then knock you off this platform, right? So I want to make sure I keep my chest forward like he does. My feet are quick, and my upper half. You see his upper half starts square, and then what does his upper half do? His upper half turns, right? Because this DB is going to be watching this number. So if I could turn my number, I could turn my head, and I could be quick with my feet, that's going to force a reaction out of him, right? So now when he bursts up to the inside here, you see how fast he is, and he's leaning this shoulder because he knows this DB is going to try to get hands, and he wants to rip underneath it. So now when he gets to the top of the break, see how he starts peeking over this left shoulder? I'm going to peek over this left shoulder, break. He's very sudden with his feet. Now, he does kind of reach a little bit, but it doesn't cause his chest to pop up. He still stays in an explosive position. He's looking over this shoulder, getting this DB to sit outside. He breaks it off, and I want you to see how he's running his arms out of this break. When you run your arms off of a speed cut, you don't lose any speed. You keep the same speed in, and you keep the same speed out. That's a great job here by Moore. Let's watch it again one more time. So let your body do it. Let your feet be quick. Your body's sudden, and then he sticks this thing off, very sudden, accelerate off this break. So now we're going to be looking at this slant release here. So let's rewind it. So the main thing about this here I want you to see is how he just gives a quick jab to the inside again. Look at his feet. Look how quick his feet are. They're underneath his frame. And then you see how much he turns his upper half, right? If I could get a little jab, because what this is like is it's almost like a quick little diamond release here, but it's I would consider it more like a double move, not so much a diamond release, just because of how far he goes with this left leg. So you see how he's here, his upper body turns, and then he goes kind of 1-2, like a little bit of a skip, like he goes just jab, skip. Like it should be jab, left, right, left, but sometimes we get out of this thing quick. We just go here, one step to the outside, right? But I think the main thing that'll get you separation on here is that his feet stay underneath him and his upper half turns. That's what I want you to see out of this, right? Because sometimes you go here. If you want to run a slant, you go quick jab to the inside, then 3 hard steps to the outside on a 45 to get him to turn his hips, right? You go left, right, left, being full stride, running. That's what gets his DB to turn. But instead, he's just doing a little bit of a quick jab here, little skip, and then gets that DB to jump outside. Again, I know this DB is not trying, but it's going to be a good technique to use, especially when your feet are that quick, and especially when you can move your upper body like that. Let's watch it full speed again. So jab, jab. Accelerate off this thing. Make sure you're running your hands off the line. Anytime we use a release on a slant, that DB, if he opens up that gate, he wants to speed turn out of there. He wants to get back. He wants to recover. So I got to make sure I do my job and pump my arms and run out of this thing. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, guys. Please leave any questions you have in the comments. I'll make sure to get back to you as soon as possible, and I'll see you guys next time.